A Journey Around My Room, a podcast drama written and directed by Kenny Burnham.
You've had your fun, publicly humiliating me. Now we're in my house. Release me.
Your sword, monsieur.
Do you have any idea who I am?
Sufficiently so, monsieur. You are a Frenchman, and the French are expressly forbidden from public displays of aggression in Turin.
These doors are locked. Open these doors this instant. Open the doors, damn you!
You shall remain in your room, as prisons go.
I am expected to remain here in my bedroom?
For 42 days, monsieur.
This is an outrage! You cannot do this! Madame de Haute-Castel will vouch for me.
Indeed, she already has. Alas, she too is French. In the meantime, monsieur, you may express your outrage at length.
You cannot force me to stay here. I leave on an expedition next week.
You should have said, monsieur. I have considered your situation.
And?
You may prepare for your expedition.
Good.
Around your room.
Imbeciles! When the House of Savoy hears of this, the tip of my sword will bury deep in your belly.
Did you say something, monsieur?
I want my belongings, is all. Books, pens, paper.
Thought that must be it, monsieur.
I demand a servant. Please. Rosine, my sweet Rosine, have they treated you well? Of course they have. Good dog. I do appreciate the dog, but I meant a manservant.
You're pushing your luck, Demestre.
Your master's going to be around a whole lot more for you. Yes, he is. You? Guard! Guard!
What now, monsieur?
This is the scoundrel who challenged me to a duel. He's no servant.
Are you a servant?
Yes.
Good day, monsieur.
Attack! You can hold a foil. Let's see you hold your sword. Tierce, you've learned well from your betters. Time for your next lesson. Keeping your distance, huh? Second. A forced thrust will. Direct line. Remise. Touché. Hold on. Sword and dagger.
God has given me two hands.
Foul play.
Foil play is no preparation for the fight.
Valour is all very well, Monsieur de Maistre. But as my dear Christophe used to say, fortune favours the reckless.
You there!
Hand me the dagger.
Halt!
You wish you'd avenged me now, Unpack my luggage.
As you wish, Master.
Sir.
You can call me Joanetti.
Call me sir. There's an air of incivility about you. Why have they put you in with me? A spy, is that it? Are the Piedmontese so paranoid that they'll watch every Frenchman, even nobility?
The House of Savoy does not approve of common folk fencing nobility, lest it give them ideas. Your pens, Master.
Yes. Let's see. We will use my dresser as a bureau. My goose feather. This will see good use. Store it safely. Fresh linen can be found in the blanket chest. My bedding must be pink and white at all times, to induce calm and pleasant reveries befitting of the fragile sleeper. These four walls. Do they not know I am an explorer? I have descended into the catacombs of Paris.
Did you get out of the hole, Master?
I have floated above Chambéry.
Yes, a balloon carrying a sheep and duck as passengers crashed into a field.
I have even engineered a method to travel to America.
Did the paper wings transport you there, Master?
You dance in my wake, never thinking of the sacrifices which I endure. You seem to know a lot about me, Giornetti.
Your reputation precedes you, Master.
I suppose it must. And yet those fools laugh and joke at my expense. An expedition around my room, indeed. They'd have me confine my exploration within these four walls. Why, they even contrive to provide me with the time to do this. Imbeciles! 42 steps. One step for each day of my confinement. And there is my bed with its pink and white sheets, and there the window framing the night sky, and here my bureau with my pens. Pack my pens this instant. I must depart today.
I don't think you're going anywhere, Master.
Are you sure you're a manservant?
Master, the guards may express an interest in your plans.
This need not trouble the guards. They may have halted my expedition to America, but they cannot halt my journey around this room.
Such an original idea, Master.
I have my eye on you, servant.
What interest could this room have?
It may not feature blue mountains and tranquil lakes, or feature prairie-pink skies and rushing rivers. It may not offer vast plains and lush green forests, or be contoured with the gaping gorges of the wildest corners of America. But it is no less interesting for that. But where to begin my journey?
Your bureau, Master, where your pens can be collected?
By my servant.
Will you keep a travel log, Master?
Indeed, and I do not intend to keep it to myself.
Who would read it, Master?
Have you not tasted love's sting?
Sadly, Master.
Then you will know at that very moment the instinct to retreat from the wider world. And have you ever been a victim of crime?
And remain so even now, Master.
Then you will know that your confidence needs convalescence much more than any wound. And have you ever taken to bed when illness has struck?
Illness is a luxury I can ill afford, Master.
There are occasions when travelling is out of the question.
Such as this one, Master.
The warp and weft of my pen will weave words that gladden the heart and soothe the head. So in answer to your question, the book is for you. Were you able to read?
I'll prepare the fire, Master.
I smell something on you, Giornetti.
Firewood, Master.
An odour.
It's been days since I last bathed, Master.
Sedition more than sanitary. For some time now I have viewed all crowded gatherings with sinister suspicion. When at a party amidst apparently amiable men dancing and singing, expressing nothing but joy and cordiality, do you hear the revolutionary tiger? Do you see her climb into the orchestra pit and hear her cry, "Wretched humans, listen to the truth I speak unto you. You're oppressed and unhappy." Does she set her eyes on you and proclaim, "Arm yourself with a dagger, climb up into the boxes and slaughter everyone, dip their hands in blood"? Would you obey the tiger who has so recently danced in Paris?
Master, I labour by any which means, so I may eat.
No time for art.
No, Master. One must first tend to the needs of the body.
Feeding the beast nourishes the soul. Fetch my cup. There's nothing in this.
You didn't ask for it filled, Master.
Leave me,
Master?
sir! Oh, I never pick you up as quickly as you like. This is getting me nowhere. I will write my first diary entry. Now, where is my goose feather? I knew it! Guards! Guards!
What now, monsieur?
I have been robbed.
Everything all right, Master?
Insolence.
A serious accusation has been made against you.
The crime?
Enough of this. Only a fool reasons with a peasant. Punish him.
A pen is missing. You were last seen with it.
By any which means were his words, unable to distinguish theft from labour.
Speak!
Maester expressed sentiment over a goose feather pen.
I will not stand for such insolence. Lacks the common decency to address his master as Sir, not even de Maistre.
I put it in a safe place. May I?
Watch him carefully. I have been witness to his tricks. Not 1 inch of that bureau has gone unsearched.
You perhaps came within an inch of it, Maester. I placed it inside your book on the philosophers.
Who gave you permission to partition my pens?
I think an apology is due.
I have long since thought so.
From you, monsieur.
Me?
Such an attitude is unexpected, monsieur. It is this man whom Madame vouched for.
Giannetti?
You disagree with Madame's judgment?
No, I apologise.
And you shall address Monsieur de Maistre as Sir.
Do you want your pens packed, Maester? Good morning, Maester. Up early?
Indeed. Today I set off on my expedition.
Your journey around your room. How long will it take, Maester?
41 days.
Remarkable coincidence, Maester.
My thoughts too. One must never embark upon a journey without a map. This is no exception. There is a straight route from here to my armchair. Travel towards the north, you come into the view of my bed, placed at the far end of the room. The route from the bed to the window involves a detour to the pictures via the bookcase. The window may take some time to reveal its secrets. Finally, my journey will end where it began, at my bureau.
Doesn't look like a 41-day journey to me, Maester.
My journey may measure even more than this, because I have no preconceived method. I do not know how long it will take to get from one place to another. A spontaneous approach with agreeable flexibility.
A simple calculation, surely, Maester? What is it, 25 foot by 20?
Simple on foot, perhaps, but not by chair.
Chair.
Of course, the going may not always be fair. One day the sunlight enters through the window, flooding the room with a shimmering radiance. Too bright and the glare may blind and career me off course. Other days, storm clouds may gather and steal the sun's rays. Poor visibility obscures obstacles en route. On these occasions, one must navigate at a reduced rate. One hasn't all day to chat. I must embark upon my travels.
Maester, I notice your mode of travel has space for just one passenger. Should I assume you no longer require my service?
You should not. I expect my travels to induce a considerable appetite.
Very well, Maester. And where should I deliver your breakfast?
Where you always deliver it, on my table.
As you wish, Maester. I'll remove hot meals from the menu.
Upon whose orders?
Maester, if you're travelling through the realm of the bed, what use is a plate of hot mutton in the realm of the salon? How would you even know it was there? You wouldn't hear me deliver it, and you wouldn't see me, being so far away.
I have on me my telescope.
Of course, Maester.
And you may assume I have the mighty legs of a giant, such that it takes me no more time to reach my table than it does now.
Naturally, Maester. Bon voyage.
The trouble in expending so much effort to project myself forward, Racine, is I observed hardly anything of my journey. I may have to revisit my strategy. Does he really think I could slip through that racket? Well, I'm not turning. I shall lie here sleeping with my eyes open. He's still there. I know it. I bet he's standing there in the middle of the room with my gown open. I'll turn, crack open an eye, just a little. Oh, for goodness sake!
Morning, Maester.
Would you stand there all day with my gown? Let's have it then. Don't just stand there, man. Take the other side of this portrait.
Is this not the woman who was in the park, Maester?
Madame, were she here now, she wouldn't think you so chivalrous.
Were she here now, Maester, it could only be because you had challenged her to a duel.
Are you suggesting that Madame de Hautecastel fences?
Well, she does have my dagger.
Think highly of yourself, don't you, Giornetti?
Self-respect, Maester.
An inimitable quality that can be neither commanded nor bestowed upon others, and not one so obviously attributed to you. Lift.
How was your crossing to your bed by chair, Maester?
It proved somewhat choppy. Bed?
Yes, Maester. Your bed.
It's not a bed, it's a staging post.
You did not spend the night there, Maester.
Of course I did.
And will this destination be your staging post every night, Maester?
I imagine it will.
Like a bed, Maester.
Lower this. Giornetti, did I not bestow upon you a vision? Don't you see that it is so much more than a bed? When the curtain cracks open to release the first rays of sunlight, I am gripped between an engaging glow and the warmth of my bed. One basks in these moments. Is there any theatre which arouses the imagination more, where we can forget for one half of our life the sorrows of the other half? A bed witnesses our birth and death. It is the theatre in which the human race acts out its captivating dramas, laughable farces and dreadful tragedies. It is a cradle bedecked with flowers, a throne of love, a crypt.
Maester?
Yes, well, where were we? Up there. There. What fault do you find with the portrait?
Wherever you are in the room, Madame's eyes follow you as you go about.
The beautiful lady eyes everyone on all sides at once and smiles on every visitor as she smiles on me. Alack, poor lover. You pine away far from your mistress, who perhaps even now stands at the side of another, whilst you fix your longing eyes on her portrait, imagining that she holds you in sole regard.
Maester?
Observe, the picture is a plain surface. The rays of light scatter from each point and are only visible to you because light is reflected in a diffuse manner.
Ah, physics. Perhaps there's something to learn from art after all.
Perhaps. Fire's getting low. Ah, damn and blast! Why have these tongs been placed so close to the fire?
Water to cool your hand, Maester.
You know about the soul and the other, Giornetti?
No, Maester.
Observations have led me to believe that man is double, two distinct beings linked to one another. The body is accused of so many things, and yet it is upon the animal, the other, that the blame should fall. The soul, on the other hand, is a superior individual enjoying a separate existence with its own tastes and inclinations, and ranks higher than the other, because it is better educated. Be as proud of your intellect as you please, but be very suspicious of the other.
That should do it. This superiority, I presume, is a reflection of the outside world.
Have you only disdain for this good civilization?
Was it that's so good, Maester? Poisons? Cream tarts? Royalty? The guillotine?
How the ignorant describe France. Tell me, which would you procure? I can guess, and it isn't the tart.
One cannot live on cake alone, Maester.
As one who has lived through the changes you prescribe, it comes at a great price, with great fear, and a great loss. My journey is going to plan, Giornetti. He's quiet today. Yes, at this rate, the guards may have to release me early. A bit urgent with the buttons this morning. Say, I have an amusing story about the soul and the other.
Another observation on nature's hierarchies, Master.
Ah, that explains your silence. Mr. Button, there. How do I look?
Presentable, Master.
In actual fact, my observation is at the soul's expense. When reading a book and an agreeable idea suddenly enters your imagination, the soul attaches herself to the new idea at once and forgets the book whilst your eyes mechanically follow the words and lines. You get through the page without remembering what you've read. This is because the soul, having ordered me to read to her, gave no warning of the short absence she contemplated, and so I went on reading when she was no longer attending. Of course, this is not an experience which much bothers you.
I had a flick through your book.
My diary?
Your book on the philosophers, Master.
You mean you looked at it?
You don't think I've heard of Plato or Hippocrates?
You insist he's Louis Capet next. So, you've read a few words on the philosophers. Well done. Let's see how you deal with this conundrum. One day last summer, I had been sketching all day, but had an appointment to keep with court. I thought of the sublimity of the painter's art. Happy is he who is touched by the aspect of nature, and is led by the love of landscape into solitary paths, making his canvas breathe the feeling of sadness with which he is inspired by a gloomy wood or a desert plain. My productions imitate and reproduce nature, creating new seas and dark caverns into which the sun has never peered. At my command, coppices of evergreens spring into life, and the blue of heaven is reproduced on my canvas. I darken the air, and we hear the roar of the storm. I present a scene of startled nymphs fleeing the pursuit of a fawn through bending reeds, all reflected in the waters of a tranquil river. A scene that no tongue can describe.
Is there a point, Master?
Whilst thinking this, I came to find myself at the door of none other than Madame de Hautecastel. I commanded myself to go to court, but my soul had delivered me a full half-mile from my destination. Now, what might you say about that?
If I'd had so little presence of mind that I'd spent time on something other than earning food, I'd have made it count and knocked on her door.
A nobleman would not place himself at the mercy of inappropriate opportunity. When the time is right, I will share with you a dialogue between the soul and the other. What weighs on your mind this morning, Jonetti?
Nothing very much, Master.
Oh, there's something I can tell. A man who has picked up a book on the Greek philosophers is not one without thoughts.
I knew a farmer. He tilled the land. His master took half the crop, sometimes more. Soon after, money rent was demanded so that he'd have to sell much of his half of the crop just to be able to keep tilling the land. All he had to offer was the strength in his arms, but with dwindling reserves of food, his strength diminished until he was no longer able to farm. He was reduced to eating fallen acorns and roots. There were those so poor they'd eat the bark off of the trees. Relying on the goodwill of others, he sought scraps from a familiar face, a nobleman who had watched him tilling the fields and was now unable to see past the clothes of a beggar. He scolded him.
Is there a point, Jonetti?
That farmer was not an idle rascal. He had come to the aid of the aeronaut who crashed into his field. The nobleman was assisted by my father.
Your father?
He'd heard conditions were better for farmers in Turin.
Your father is here in Turin. You must bring him to.
He died when I was 8. France robbed him of his crop, his farm, and eventually his life.
I see. And the alleviation of your misery in Turin has made you all the more aware of whatever misery that remains.
Touché. And you find it easier to succumb to sorrow here in your adopted home of Turin than in your native land.
How dare you! It is serfs such as you who have let me down, not France.
You've allowed your memories to lead you in a course of inaction, and yet, with the right intervention...
Intervention, you mean revolution. I know only too well what revolution unleashes. Great fear, great death, great loss, chaos, penury, anarchy, displacement.
You cannot make an omelette without cracking a few eggs.
Thousands of eggs have been smashed in France. Where's this omelette of yours?
You deny those without a place in the world a chance to rearrange the furniture.
To save Turin from the same fate? Yes, I would. Prepare my breakfast.
Your gown, Maester. And where is it today?
As though I had any choice in the matter.
I mean, your journey around your room, Maester.
All this questioning before breakfast.
I've brought you coffee, eggs, bread, and fruit confit, Maester.
The second sip is always better. Today, I shall contemplate my art. One never travels on an empty stomach. Come.
Go away. Go away. Yeah.
I should very much like to submit these. Everything all right?
Yeah, Master.
Your face? Ah, your throat. I'll find you something for that. Consider these pictures. They will amuse us en route to my bureau. Here we see the unhappy Charlotte standing behind Albert with a tremulous hand. Many a time have I been tempted to break the glass so that I might tear Albert to pieces and trample him underfoot. But this would not do away with the Alberts of this world. There are sadly too many of them.
And this portrait, Master?
Giornetti, we must take care not to see things at the wrong time. A visitor taken to the royal palaces of Prague, then expected to appreciate the botany on the banks of the Vltava before finally being asked to listen to the sonatas of Dussek, will struggle to admire a sequence linked only by proximity. Come, we have many more portraits to get through. The imprisoned Ugolino and his sons dying of hunger. The shepherdess of the Alps, sitting on a willow trunk and tending her flock alone. A carpet of lavender and wild thyme native to the Alps covers her feet. Oh, shepherdess, could I not go thither and live with thee? But alas, the sweet tranquility thou enjoyest will soon vanish. The tiger and her soldiers are advancing. Fly, shepherdess, hide in the darkest and remotest caverns. Here we witness the brave and heroic Chevalier d'Assas take on 100 bayonets.
You seem very affected by art, Master.
What is the point of art if it leaves us unmoved? I want to say a few words upon the question of preeminence between the charming arts of painting and music. If I cast my grain into the matter, I would cast it in favor of the painter. His pictures outlive him and immortalize his memory. It is true that musical composers leave us their operas and concertos, but music is subject to fashion, and painting is not. The music that deeply affected our forefathers seems ridiculous to the amateurs of today. Raphael's pictures will enchant our descendants as greatly as they did our forefathers. There, that is my grain of sand.